Hey everybody, how you doing? Give a warm welcome to Grandma Cheri.
Hey, everybody. Oh, I'm unmuted. Woohoo. Hi.
Yeah. Hi Sleuth Mom, who dis, Layla, PJ, and Taffy, and Nico. Missed you last time, Nico. So we have Grandma Cheri tonight, and she's going to talk a little bit about autism. Um, Before we do get started, I am a little concerned about Chris. Has anybody seen or heard from him? Hi, Shanda. Anybody seen Chris or heard from him? Okay, well, I'm going to reach out to him then. But I'm going
Okay.
to let Grandma Cheri get started.
Ta-da. Hey. Okay. This is kind of like my first official presentation. So, my channel is about autism awareness, and not just autism awareness, but neurodiversity in general. People who have problems getting along in society. And it's still growing. I'm still learning. But, oh, here. You see it? Neurodivergent. That's what I am, because I'm actually autistic. I was diagnosed with autism when I was in my 40s. So I had 40 plus years to figure out, stumbling along, how to get along with people. So those are my credentials. I graduated from Facebook, and now I'm on YouTube. And I just want to help people. So I'm not an expert. I don't have any letters after my name, anything like that. I've got the School of Hard Knocks, and I got a PhD in that. So, but I reached out to Ange because um, a lot of times we see these news, the missing people in the true crime, and there's a little autistic person and they drowned, or we have autistic teens and they just up and leave or they go missing. And so I wanted to touch on that. And do you have anything to do? Because I'm going to try to share this thingy that I have.
Um, you can share it, and I have to accept. See if you can do that. We do have a question, though. Hey, Ramblin',
Hey.
and it's me. Let me put this question up here, Cheri. It
Okay.
says, this is from Who Dis. It says, do you find that more adults now claim they are neurodivergent and or autistic because of TikTok and social media, but have never gotten an actual diagnosis?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was going to touch on that. Um, and I can't find my stuff. I hope I'm not sharing my screen. But
No,
yeah, I am. And I'll actually kind of answer that in just a moment. It's going to be thrilling. You're going to love it. Um, yeah,
she's
so
so
let me
sweet.
see.
She'll get to it. Who dis?
Yeah. Um, PJ. PJ. Oh, can you see my screen?
No, I can't.
Mm, mm.
Be patient, guys. This is Grandma Cheri's first time actual going live and on panel with someone.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay, there. Maybe we'll try that.
okay, we got it, Grandma. All right, here we
Okay.
go.
Well, let's do this.
Woohoo!
This works. Woo!
Better than what I
Is
could
that it?
have figured out. Let me tell you.
Alrighty. Hang on just a second. Yay! Okay, so basically, I'm going to give you a little primer or whatever about autism because you hear it a lot. You hear it a lot nowadays. You know, everybody knows somebody that is diagnosed with autism. And I don't like to say has autism because it's something you can't cure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can have a sore throat or you could have athlete's foot. Those things you can cure. But autism is not one of the things that has a cure for it. It has management guidelines. Boom. So basically, what is autism? And like my little guy on the screen here, who knows? Who knows? Um, to be honest with you, there's so many different um, ideas about what autism is and where it comes from and how you get it.
Whoa.
And whoa, what?
Sorry. I was just trying to make it bigger for the people, but that sorry to interrupt, guys. Sorry.
That's all good. So basically, autism isn't something new. It's something that scientists and psychologists and whatnot have just found a way to classify and to explain it because we've had autistic people all through history. Um, typically, they were considered that they were demonic. Obviously, if they couldn't get along in society, or if they were nonverbal, or if they did any kind of stimming, which we'll talk about in a second, flapping, that sort of thing. They were, afflicted of the devil, and oh, ouch, a lot of cases they just burned them like they were witches, or they would put them in insane asylums.
Oh.
So here we go with the timeline. Um, remember, I said autism's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't until 1910, and honestly, psychiatry or the study of the brain and emotions and all that stuff that the brain does, that didn't even start until like the 1700s. Let that sink in. 1700s. So it's been a pretty short period of time since then. But there was a Swiss psychiatrist, his name is Eugene Bleuler, and he started looking at primarily boys because boys get diagnosed more with autism than girls do. And I have a theory on that, but that's tinfoil, so I'll talk to you about that later. So he said, "Oh my God, it's schizophrenia." He didn't call it autism. They did get the word autism from the Greek word autisma, something like that. Anyway, so he's schizophrenia and he's publishing stuff. And then Hans Asperger, everybody is familiar with his name because of Asperger syndrome, came along in 1938. And he kind of built on what Eugene Bleuler and another doctor named Kanner, which is kind of between them, came up with infantile autism. Only he titled them as autistic psychopaths. You know, here we go, still not understanding what it is. So we get into the 1950s, and psychiatry is now kind of like a recognized thing. It's starting to get recognized, and they all got together and they all comprise this book that they call the DSM. That's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for mental health, mental illness. So that started back in the 50s. But by 1960, the DSM, everybody got together and said, you know, it's not really schizophrenia. So what is it? So it took them about 20 years before they actually separated autism and schizophrenia. And then in 2013, we'll come along with the DSM-5. That's where we are right now. Uh, had everything classified under something called a pervasive developmental disorders, because autistic people don't act the same as quote, normal people. So obviously it's a disorder. Um, so the grouping of disorders, including PDD-NOS, which is that pervasive development disorders, not otherwise specified as the NOS, autism, Asperger's syndrome, Rett, blah blah blah. So it's all been removed, and they replaced it with the term autism spectrum disorder. ASD is 299.00. Needed the coding for it. So sorry, I was looking at notes or chat. So I just got asked a question here not too long ago. What's the difference between Asperger's and autism? Asperger's is just a name that used to be given to people who function normally, more normally than some people on the autism spectrum. But basically, in order to be considered in the criteria of diagnostic for autism, you have to have social deficits, which is interactions, conversations, nonverbal communications, and relationships. What this looks like, and like I said, I'm just going on my personal experience. And the thing is that everybody can relate to these kind of things. Like if Sleuth Mom and PJ were having a conversation, and I walked up to them, and then they included me in the conversation, I don't know when it's my turn to talk. And, person A says this, person B says that, they laugh, and then look at me, and if I get it, I laugh too. But I also don't notice the nonverbal communications, like when people put their hands on their hips and roll their eyes at me and sigh, like they want me to go away. I don't really pick up on those. You have to be pretty blatant, pretty blunt, and upfront with a person on the spectrum, because we just don't get that. And remember when I said that boys are diagnosed more than women or girls? Why? And we can argue about all different things all day long, because it happens with anything. But in my opinion, I think that girls are raised to be more socially conscious about the way they hold themselves, about the things that they say, how to, say thank you and say hello to Mrs. Jones, those type of things more than boys are. And uh, typically any kind of studies, medicine, psychiatry, tends to focus upon males, because they're going to grow up and run the country. The second thing, and these are words we all need to remember, kids, is stimming. And sometimes if you've seen videos of autistic people, you'll see them flap their hands, or they yell. They're just shouting and screaming, not really words. They're just screaming. And these things are actually called stimming, because it feels like inside your body has a buildup of energy that your brain really doesn't know what to do with. So it almost feels like, we're going to have a critical core breakdown, because we have all of this inside and we have to do something with it. So my stimming, because I've learned behavioral modifications, basically because everybody thought I was weird and kind of a jerk, But I learned my behavioral modifications um, because of that. But right now, I kind of bounce my foot. I will do that a lot, all the time. But when I was younger, when I was, a toddler and a little girl, I used to walk on my tiptoes. I'd walk everywhere on my tiptoes. And I used to bite people that I like. I know it's weird, but that was just something. I liked them so much, I just had to bite them. And if they, you know, Sherry, that's enough now, and put me on the couch, I would rock. I would rock back and forth and bounce off the back of the couch. And I loved that. It felt so good to me. So those are stimming type of things. And then another criteria for diagnosis is sensory input. This is a word, tactile defensiveness. That's when, okay, like with me, I can't buy t shirts or blouses or anything that have tags sewn into the back of them, um, because that makes me crazy. If they do have tags, I have to cut them out. Um, some people like, oh, I hate feeling a kiwi because it's so gross. Oh, yeah. Well, we have that. Autistic people have that because everything just seems to be bigger. I don't know how else to describe that, just bigger. Um, and so things like lights, noises. Oi, I took my grandson for his birthday to Dave and Buster's, which is kind of like Chuck E. Cheese for grown-ups. It's got, you know, games and all kinds of stuff. But it
Yeah.
was
Mm-hmm.
packed and it was so noisy
Yeah.
that he and I both started to have a meltdown because the input was too much for us to handle. So we had to leave. And so, it goes with all kinds of things:
Mm-hmm.
sense, taste, pain. They might have a very low pain threshold, or it might be very high, and they can withstand a lot of pain. Whether an enhanced perception. Remember, I told you that everything was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because, and I have no idea how this works, but I'm just going to try to explain it. It's like when we're listening to something, or when I'm listening to something, I hear things that other people can't. And I see things that other people can't. And I don't know how to describe that. I'm not trying to be woo woo or scary, but there is an enhanced perception. So here we go. Autism is defined with three different levels. So level 3 is the requiring very substantial support. These are people that they can't dress themselves. They have trouble eating. They run into walls. They're nonverbal. Level 2 is requiring substantial support. And sometimes these people they might be semi verbal. They might do a lot of yelling. They're able to like sit at a restaurant. And then level 1 are people that are requiring support, like me. Okay. It's called high functioning autism, HFA. And uh, that's also the level that Hans Asperger coined for the kids that he was studying, Asperger syndrome. So the criteria is that symptoms must be present in early developmental period. So getting back to your question, yeah, there's a lot of adults that are being diagnosed because, hey, we finally figured out that, this is a thing. And to be honest with you right now, I believe that autism is kind of like a dumpster of diagnosis. And, ooh, trigger warning, trigger warning. Um, because We have this criteria. I'm sure every single one of you that are listening have had a time where you were just felt socially awkward. You didn't want to go, or you didn't want to stay at the party, or something along that line. Or you totally misjudged what everybody was saying and laughed at inappropriate times and things like that. So basically, there with our mental health crisis or mental illness crisis right now, a lot of people are getting diagnosed with autism because excuse me, but I think doctors are just lazy. You can't diagnose or help somebody in an hour. And you could go for hour therapy every day for the next 20 years with some people,
Yes,
and it's not going to help,
I agree. Mm-hmm.
you know? And so instead of investing in a person's abilities and trying to help them overcome their obstacles, I think they're just kind of slam dunking autism. Um, and here's an interesting thing in the red there. But it may not become fully manifest until social demands exceed limited capacities or may be masked by certain learned strategies later in life. And that's what I did is I learned that if I did something and people made fun of me or they called me a weirdo or, Cheri, just leave, um, that I would, okay, don't do that again. And to be honest with you, it's such a problem to go through that thinking every day. Oh my God, should I do this? Should I do, well, what am I supposed to say? And so um, there are other symptoms associated, but they're not intellectual disorders. So a person with autism could have ADHD. A person with autism could be bipolar. A person with autism could have a myriad of other things. Oh, look, it's playing. This little guy,
Oh,
anybody remember him?
oh, I
This
don't, but he's so, oh my goodness.
is a sweetheart. Yeah, so he was short, quick, fast, 6 years old, and I'm not going to go on the missing person thing. But we got this breaking news. This 6 year old child with autism is missing.
Oh, wait, maybe I will. Go ahead, honey.
Yeah, and it's like he lived like in a trailer park, and it was like really close to the river. So everybody searches trailer park, and the first thing they started to do is search the river.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, he was
Yeah.
dead. He drowned. What appears to be an accidental drowning. And this little guy, he's
Mm-hmm.
actually my local buddy.
Oh,
Um, his family had this. This is an ice cream truck with all those people lined up. It was called Waldy's, Waldy's ice cream, and Waldy Landon had autism. He was like probably a level 2, level 3, and he had Down syndrome.
mm-hmm.
So he loved ice cream. So they actually started this ice cream truck in Farmville, Virginia, to raise funds for autism and Down syndrome awareness and research.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
yes, this I'm going to try not to cry. And he's 6 here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, Waldy was found dead in a pond. He had drowned.
Mm.
Yeah. So, the American Academy of Pediatrics say that nearly half of the autistic children disappear from their homes. Their contacts is what they're called. And children with autism may seek out smaller enclosed settings and go toward water or places of special significance to them, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And people say, well, why do the little guys go towards water? Because you could probably count them on two or more hands about young autistic people that have been found drowned.
Yes.
And there's no answer to that because they really don't know. But in my humble opinion, my little Aspie ideas, um, water is calming. Water is like white noise.
Mm-hmm.
When you have just a circus and fireworks and explosions and things going on in your brain and your body all day long, if you can find some place that's peaceful and quiet, any kind of white noise, go there. And you want to be a part of it. Now, these little guys don't understand the danger of water.
Right.
I'm sure some of them have swum before and played at the pond, but they don't understand that they have a severe risk of drowning.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah, please.
Um, this may be a dumb question, but it just popped in my mind because, I'm true crime and
Yeah,
in not all cases, of course, because I don't want to, you know me, I don't like to victimize
right.
parents, but in some cases, do you think, um, uh, because I mean, I've seen a lot of where, you know, I mean, we've seen tons of these cases where the kids have snuck out of their homes and went. So, do you think in some of these cases, these kids were trying to get away from something bad and, just trying to run to something they felt safe with?
That's
Not
not a stupid
not the
question.
ones you've mentioned here,
No,
but
no, no,
have,
no. In general, and I don't know every autistic person in the world, you know, um, but I am a part of some groups and I've done a massive amount of study. And anyway, uh, to answer your question, no, I don't think they're running away from, like, child abuse or anything along that line. You have to understand that living in an autistic brain
mhm,
and body can be like hell on earth, and you just want to get away. And something primally within us thinks that if we leave and go to someplace else, it's going to be better,
okay,
you know?
okay, yes, yes, I understand.
Yeah. And so 49% said that at least their child under four, after the age of four, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they run. That's half of the kids out there run. And it's bad enough trying to keep track of toddlers
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
little guys, you know, the ones that, totally understand and interact with you well. But for someone with autism, they don't understand. Ow, sorry. I hit my mic. They don't understand that if they cross the road, they might get hit by a car.
Right,
You know,
right.
don't go out in front of the house. Don't play in the street right now. They just don't get it
Yeah.
because it's not a part of. I didn't. That's like another subject. I've got. Oh boy, do I have videos lined up for you guys.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry
anyway,
to interrupt. My mind just went there for a second because, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Grandma.
no, I love that. So I can't read chat because I've got this thing up here and I can't see anything else. But um, so people with autism try to avoid overwhelming stimuli, like the sights, noises, environment, or other people's activities. If if an autistic person is in a house with a bunch of other kids and there's games going on and there's arguing going on and the refrigerator door is slamming and when these things can just spiral out of control, because we have to have control over our situation, and we need to learn what are our triggers, how we can handle that, how we can find and know when a meltdown is coming on. um, so this is half to 10% of individuals with classic autism, and that would be like the Asperger's level 1 sort of thing, show unusual abilities ranging from splinter skills, which are minute things like uh, she knows everything about dinosaurs, or in my grandson's case. He knows rocks, mineralogy, or whatever you call it. Oh my lord, he can look at something and say, no, no, that's, blah blah blah. And I'm like, really? And of course I wasted my mind because I'm just full of Harry Potter and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Star Trek trivia. Don't ever play Trivial Pursuit with me. But then there are others that are called autistic savants. Um, and this is horrible, but they used to be called idiot savants. They don't interact well, they don't make eye contact, but they are so focused on one thing. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk is autistic. Yes, he's a level 1 autistic.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here, this says because of these things, because of the way the autistic brain processes things, we are more vulnerable to exploitation and to be used. An autistic person, like I said, they're honest, they're blunt, they're upfront. You need to tell us, no, that was stupid, don't do that again, because we're not going to pick up on the hints. Just tell me.
Yeah.
And because of that, we think that everybody is the same way. Everybody's honest. Everybody is, pretty much all together. We're not out to hurt each other. And there's three, and then I'm going to bring up another one. Austin Lauer was an autistic boy that just recently went missing.
Uh-huh.
He went over to a quote friend's house who was grooming him. I love you more than your mom. Anything you want here is good.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. And if you notice, we jumped from age 6 to age 12.
Mm-hmm.
That's because when they start processing the hormones, as they start to mature in their body, it's a very special time.
Yeah.
But Austin, that teenage rebellion and whatnot, and his mom was putting boundaries and limitations on him for his own good. And autistic people are stubborn as heck. So Austin ran. They ended up getting him back. He ran again. They ended up getting him back. But that's an example. Connor Jack Oswald was found in Utah. And, right? Utah? Sleuth? Anyway, he'd been missing for 3 years. 3 years.
Wow.
Cops found him outside of a convenience market. He was cold. He's autistic. 3 years. We don't know why he left, but we know that they do. They just leave. And then Kaylee Jones,
Mm-hmm.
she's still missing.
Mm-hmm.
She's autistic. And the thing is that when kids are online, and we kind of do it as adults on YouTube too, that they're my friend. They're my friend from YouTube, or my friend from Omegle, or my friend from Snapchat, whatever the thing is. And so being autistic and having the needs of a teenager opens them up to the grooming. And if you don't know what grooming is, that's basically finding out being a predator, finding out the needs of the person, the kid that you're talking to, and fulfilling those needs. Oh, you're pretty. Oh, you're smart. No, your parents shouldn't do that. They should know that you're more mature than that. That sort of thing. And that's what we think Kaylee Jones fell to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was kind of it. A lot of these things that we have. Hi, I'm back. So a lot of the things that these teenagers have gone through are the same things that regular teenagers go through. But with an autistic person, there needs to be special nuances because it's not like level one, level two, level three. Everything. Somebody might be normal, sort of like me. Man, if I had $5 for every time someone told me you don't look autistic, what does autistic look like? But anyway, um,
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we were talking backstage, and I was telling Grandma that when I lived in Camden, um, our neighbor boy, he was autistic, and you couldn't even tell. And most you can't, because they are very, very smart. And she said, "I'm autistic," and I said, "See." I mean, because I don't know what we have in our mind when we think of autistic, but because some people you can tell and some people you can't. And I mean, I don't really know a lot of, I mean, I do now, thanks to Grandma Cheri, but um, I know one thing about him. He had to have his bedroom light on 24 hours a day. He wanted his light on. Um, that's the only thing I did know about him. Other than that, and then um, the people we were buying the house off of in Camden, their son was autistic. He was extremely, extremely smart. He wanted to be a firefighter, um, and he would go down to the fire station all the time. And I know he was doing everything he could to be one, and he may be one now. I don't know. Um, but I don't know. Um, I just wanted to touch on that because of what Grandma Sherry
right.
said. But
No,
please, everybody, share this video. Please share it. It's very informative. Share it on your normal Facebook. Share it wherever you are on social media. Share it in any groups you're in, because people do need to see this. And hello, Chemo or Chemo. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
Kimosabi. Is that right, Kimosabi?
Kimosabi.
I,
Um,
I, like I
she
said, I haven't been
says,
able to see chat. Mm-hmm. Hit
I
the
want to
10 if
read
there is
this
good.
comment. There is something wrong with all of us. It's just a matter of degree. Most people, for the most part, can generally keep life between the white lines. Some people struggle with it. That's a good comment, and that's so very true. It
It
is.
is. It's totally true. My ex brother in law used to say, "We're all autistic. Everybody has something
Well,
going
yes,
on."
because I found several things that you said that, you know, I like the tags on the shirts. I can't stand them. I cut mine off too. And who dis said something that uh, lighting the way home said something her daughter does. Sleuth mom said something, and then one of them, somebody had said something that reminded me about my niece. Oh, walking on her tiptoes. And then I had a friend, and I always thought it was a nervous habit. Hi, Sage Sleuth. How have you been? Haven't seen you around for a while. Um, but uh, hold on. I lost my train of thought. I'll get back there in a minute. Oh, my friend, when we were growing up, and as a matter of fact, still as an adult, she had to always, she had a rocking chair. She had to always sit in it. If there wasn't one, wherever she sat, she still rocked. When she stood up, she still would rock back and forth. And I
Mhm.
always thought it was a nervous habit. But as you guys said, you and somebody else in chat, I think, said, a lot of people aren't diagnosed with whatever it could be.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
doctors, you know,
You want to hear my tinfoil hat theory?
sure.
Okay. And I'm not a doctor, and I do have a really high IQ, but I'm just stupid when it comes to executive. decisions, which is something that we need to teach all kids, by the way. Uh, and it's very, very important to teach them how to prioritize instead of just going with the flow, running away or stimming or things like that, to stop and recognize it and find a different way to dispel it, which is actually not what I was going to say. But they started doing research into schizophrenics. Remember, we're autistic schizophrenics, we're autistic psychopaths. But they started doing actual physical research as far as the neurons and synapses in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And they realized that people with schizophrenia have fewer synapses that are connected, which may give them that lack of empathy and that sort of thing. But they found that in autistic brains, there's way more synapses that are firing and connected. And the theory, and here's the tinfoil hat thing that I like. The theory is that everybody is born with like every cell and neuron and synapses in your brain firing. When you first come into the world, it's all there. And then what happens as you grow up in your environment, certain of these synapses are pruned, they're cut, because you're not going to need that anymore. You don't need to learn how to run really fast because there's no more saber-toothed tigers, that sort of thing. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they're actually looking into it, because right now it's all just woo woo. Nobody can totally agree on exactly what autism is, other than we're weird. And like you're saying in the chat, there's normal behavior. That's a statistical thing for governments and medical people and whatnot, to keep their numbers. If 9 out of 10 people do this, then the 9 people are normal. They're typical. We could do that with our calculations. But out of those 9 people, maybe one person is freaking out because they don't like being in the crowd or somebody's touching them,
Yeah.
or maybe they have autistic tendencies. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were there any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Grandma Cheri? Raise that hand.
Bueller. Bueller.
This has been wonderful, Grandma Cheri. I'm really glad that we did this because
It's my first time and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I can't go live myself. Sleuth, PJ, Savage, and somebody teach me how to go live. Oh, because I would do it myself, but I really, yeah. But
well,
I appreciate you so much.
I can't go live. The only way I can go live is through StreamYard.
Yeah.
And but I envy all of you that can do all that fancy stuff, because I can't figure it out. So you all are wonderful. Maybe when I get the patience to just, but like I said, I couldn't figure out StreamYard without
Yay.
Mr.
But
Cat teaching me. I mean, I had to go over to his house and sit down, and then I was like, oh, that's all. That
I mean, it's so complicated.
I'm just a hands-on visual person. Sleuth Mom says she's been yard selling this weekend. She's exhausted. I know what
Yes.
exhausted is. Hey, Shanda. She says, in my opinion, law enforcement needs better training how to deal with people who are. Yes, I'll agree with that.
I'm just going to throw in there, they that are training on how to deal with just anybody.
Yeah, some
Because
do.
we're not all criminals, you know. But no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because if they encounter an autistic person who's in the middle of a meltdown and they're flailing and they're screaming and they're trying to get away, law enforcement needs to understand that that's not a threat. That's the autistic person trying to protect themselves because it's just all too much. It's all too much.
I can't. I'm sorry. I just now see, I don't know how long you've been here. I can't. It won't let me tag you. BC.
Me? Oh, BC, hi.
BC. Thank you for coming, BC. Oh, it's
Yeah.
probably because I'm over here in StreamYard. I can't tag anybody from StreamYard.
Oh,
It didn't even let me tag Sleuth Mom.
really?
That's why I usually have YouTube up and I can go over there and
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it's amazing info, PJ said.
Thanks, BT. So, was the video and audio okay?
Yes, everything worked good. Yes, it was wonderful.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
So nobody has any questions? She did pretty good, didn't she? I mean, she gave so much information. She really didn't leave room for questions.
Okay, everybody can wake up now. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Well, I put Grandma Cheri. I did put her link in the chat, but her channel link is also in the description. And for those of you that were here for last live, I did not lie. I did go back and put those video links in the description. But tonight I went and looked and they're not there. I don't know why. I should have done it through StreamYard instead of YouTube. But so all my people probably think I lied to them because I promised them I would do that.
So thank you for having me on. Thank you for promoting my channel. It's really a channel. Okay, can I share something with you?
Anything. You are the guest. You can do anything you would like to do, Grandma.
I want to see if this works. Okay, so hang on just a second. Hang on.
Okay, Sage and Sharon, please do because this is so informative. People need to see this. They really do. And please share, guys. I know I've said it like a billion times, but share it everywhere, anywhere. I'm going to share it on my regular Facebook, and I don't usually share I usually just share it in my group, but I'm going to share it on my regular Facebook.
Oh, thank you. Were you all able to hear my song or no?
I was talking. I'm sorry.
Oh, but it was playing.
I don't know. They probably,
Okay.
I didn't hear it, and they probably couldn't hear it with my mouth running. Try it again. Hi, Hope. How are you, honey? Okay, try it again, Grandma. I don't hear it.
Okay. I got a stream deck that when I go live. But anyway, I'll have to figure out how that works. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Grandma.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Comment on the replay.
Do you want to go now, Grandma? You can.
Yeah. I'm just gonna jump there. Thank you so much. Love everybody. Grandma lipstick on your cheek. How do I get out? There we go.
Have a wonderful night. I will remove you. Thank you so much, Grandma Cheri. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
We love you.
Love you guys too.
Okay, good night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she did it. She removed herself. Okay. Thank you all for coming. She did a wonderful job, didn't she? And she taught me a lot that I did not know. Yes. And Chris, bless his heart, he had asked her to come on and asked me if she could. But I am concerned about Chris, guys, because nobody's hearing from him. I messaged him uh, a few minutes ago. So, and if y'all don't know Chris Gideon, um, then you haven't really made it around YouTube or Facebook. Let's see, I'm going to put Layla's comment up here. It sounds like the spectrums of autism are now being understood. That's great. I'm so glad. I suspect my grandson falls into the autism spectrum. God bless us all with sevenths. What is normal after all? Yes, Layla. And it is worrisome because, um, especially when we, look into the true crime aspect, because a lot of these kids are being preyed upon. And like she said with Kayla, she's still missing. Um, it's scary. It's really scary. Um, it's scary enough, anyways, for parents and grandparents. And um, I was at my grandson's scrimmage today, and I sat with his best friend's mom, and I guess his son told his mom, he said, "Mom, you're strict, but Eli's grandma is really strict. She just worries about him so much." And then she said back to him, "Oh, what? I don't worry about you?" And he said, "Yeah, but he's like, you go through my phone like once a week. She's like on top of his phone." I'm like, "You got to be." I said, "You got to be." And then I explained to her, I told her, I said, "I have a YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube." I said, "You see these cases?" I said, like, there's been TikTok murders, Snapchat murders, all this. I said, "I've got 4 grandkids." So, and I can't remember what case I was watching. Oh, no, I do. It's this Kylie case, this big case going on right now. And people are saying, and I don't mean to offend anybody, okay? I'm just saying my thoughts. People are saying, because I'm trying to look at both sides of this, okay? Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm not suspicious at all, okay? I'm not going to say that, but I try to look at both, all views. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, if they're so close of friends, why isn't she following her on social media? And I thought that too. I was in agreement with that. But then I'm like, well, now wait a minute. Because they were talking about, I believe, Instagram. And I don't even use my Instagram anymore. I'm never, ever on there. But I thought of TikTok. And I am never on TikTok except to follow my grandkids, right? I don't follow anybody else except for one friend, and that's because she sends football stuff to me to show my grandson. And 2 creators, and one of those creators is also my friend. I don't follow any of my friends though. I'm strictly on there to see what my grandkids are doing, to make sure, you know what I mean? So I kind of thought, so I kind of looked at it from that point of view. I don't think that really means anything. too much. But I would say, I mean, I agree that there's kind of some, you know. So am I missing comments? Yes, because I'm running my mouth. I'm sorry. I apologize. Doesn't look like too many, though. Oh, Shanda says, I heard from him Monday and he just stopped talking to me. Hmm. Sage says, last count is 1 in 54 kids are diagnosed. Many never get diagnosed. Many adults recognize it themselves after child gets diagnosed. Well, and I noticed in the chat, from what Sherry was saying tonight, people were recognizing some things that, that their children were doing or what, Um, I can't remember who, but somebody noticed something they were doing. And no, Sharon, no. And that's somebody else I'm very, very, very concerned about because it's been quite a while. Um, I messaged her about 2 weeks now. So I'm just praying for her. Grandma Sherry says that's why there's an uptick in late diagnosis. Layla says you have to be ahead of kids, grandkids nowadays. Kids are naive, gullible. Excuse me. Yes. Well, my granddaughter, sorry, got a frog in my throat. My granddaughter, I know in person, she wouldn't talk to a stranger. Like if they were like to, do the puppy thing or, like I don't know how many of you here remember or even knew about James Chadwell in Lafayette. That's how he lured that poor little girl with his dog. Um, because she is so standoffish and everything. I mean, she goes to our church and she knows them all. She's went there since she was little, and she'll walk in and she'll say hi. They'll all say hi, and and she'll just look at them, and I'll be like, Lainey, because she's just so So I mean, I know she would not ever talk to anybody in person, but I know the phone is different, so I worry. I mean, I went over all that with her, and with all this Anthony Shot stuff that came out, and I've told her, I'm like, you always make sure when you're talking to your friends, you make sure, you know, they show their face, they video you, so that's who you're talking to, because you know I'm just, and I don't care if I'm too protective or if I'm going overboard. I don't care. Hi, Lisa. How are you? No, it's not Hope. It's not. It's not even the same 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's not. And, mm-mm, no, it's not. And sometimes I tell myself, just quit watching true crime because it just makes you more paranoid. It just scares you to death more. But then I'm like, if you don't, then you're not going to be aware. And I don't know. Oh yes, Layla. I mean, that done me in. That done me in for. Oh, it's horrible. It was that poor little thing. Yes, it is. Um. Yes, Shanda. You just have to. Yeah. Have to keep her in prayer and just as much as you can. And she might be 19, but you know what? You know what? My son is 36, and he's still my baby. You know, he's still my baby. Always will be. All my, and I've got three stepkids. Same thing. They never stop being our babies, and we never stop worrying. And my son used to. I can remember when I said, "Well, you just wait till you have your own kids. You'll be the same way." Does anybody have anything they would like to say or have any questions before I say goodnight? Now, PJ and I, we will, we were going to go live tomorrow and do talk on a case, but PJ, I think we're going to have to reschedule that because some things are happening, coming, well, not really happening, but coming out. I think I'm going to have to do some more digging. Um, we are going to have to. I'm going to get with you after this too, by the way. If you're not doing anything after this or don't have anything planned, I'll call you after this live or tomorrow. Um, and Eli starts school, guys. Oh, dang gone. I didn't want to say his name, but oh well. He starts school Tuesday. So he'll his practices will change. Um, um, he's going to have games. I may be able to do lives through the week, but I'll have to do them early like I'm doing them now. Um, and then I might still have to do them on the weekends, but I don't know if he'll have games on the weekends. I know not Sundays, but maybe Saturday. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'll be getting up really early. Um, but his practices won't be as late. Mondays and Wednesdays will be out though because of church and stuff. So let me get over here so I can put your comments up there. I'm glad I'm friends with true crime people just in case. I hope I don't ever need them when it comes to my daughter. Yes, Shanda. Yes, I pray not either, honey. I was going to start researching after the live to make sure I was up to date, so I understand. Well, go ahead and do that still, because we will do that still, PJ. But I just think we can't do it tomorrow. Something just because of some things I saw today. Um, uh, so yeah, I just think we need a little bit more time. But I'm gonna call you, hun. Thank you, Shanda. Thank you. Oh, he loves it. He loves it. I'm proud of him. And they had a scrimmage today, which is a game still, but it's not, you know, they don't last as long. They just, you know, and they actually won the scrimmage. It was fun. We were almost late though, and it was Grandma's fault. I don't, it's like I don't know what I was thinking. I got up at 5 by accident. I had my alarm, but it didn't matter because we were still almost late. And I had my alarm set for 6, but I got up at 5. And so I'm sitting, drinking my coffee, catching up on, replays. And 7 o'clock rolls around, and it's freezing in my house, guys, by the way, because it's been chilly here at night. And we've had our windows open all week. So I go down there and I wake Eli up, and he's just kind of, I said, Eli, you better wake up. Grandma's going to lay down beside you because it's so cold. And then I said, it's 7 o'clock. And then I go, and it dawned on me. We had an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, he had to be there by 8:20. I said, Eli, it's 7 o'clock. He was so mad. He jumps up out of bed and he said, Grandma. But you know what? He's old enough to get himself up, and he usually does anyway. I mean, he's usually up before I am, or he gets up before I wake him up or whatever. But he's like, Grandma. I said, just get dressed. I said, you had a shower before you went to bed. You're fine. Just get dressed. Come on, let's go. I said, brush your teeth and come on. And so we did and everything. I left my wallet here. I was like, I don't know if we're going to have enough gas to get back home, all that. So then he had practice first, then the scrimmage. So my husband worked right down the road. So I called him. I'm like, I need some money. Meet me at the guard shack. So while he was practicing, I went, and anyway, everything worked out. But I'll tell you what. Okay, I've ran my mouth enough. Layla says, this was an awesome live. I really learned a lot from Grandma Cheri. Thank you, Ange and Grandma. Yes, I did too. And you know what? She is so sweet, isn't she? She's so sweet. I certainly will, PJ. I certainly will. Well, Lisa, it's a secret. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's the thing. There's another creator, and he's had some issues. When he talks about what he's going to do, and then he just has some issues when he does that. And actually, in the past, I have too. I really have. You can ask my followers, and you've been here for a while too, so you probably remember. But it is a little boy that does need some attention, some positive attention. So, guys, I'm going to let you all go. It is a Saturday night, and I'm sure you have better things to do than sit here and listen to me ramble on. Yes, you will, Lisa. You'll be surprised. Hopefully, though, we can get it done this week, or at least this weekend coming up. But like I said, Eli's practices are early, so maybe this week. Shanda says, if someone hears from Chris, please let me know. Thank you. I do worry about him. I sure will, Shanda. Are we friends on Facebook? That way I can message you, or you can message me, because I would like you to let me know if you hear from him too. Good night, Sharon. Good night. Okay, thank you, Grandma. All right, guys. Well, if you came in late, please watch the replay because it was very, very informative. And I'm going to ask one more time to please share it everywhere. Every social media that you're on, share it on your regular Facebook. Please just share it everywhere. This needs to be seen and heard. So, with that, I will say a good night and I love you all and thank you so much for coming. Have a good rest of the weekend.